G'day traders, welcome to a wrap up of Tuesday the 25th of October. So before starting today, if you look at the dailies, we're definitely in an uptrend. We've broken a resistance area. The markets are starting to look like they want to break up a little bit. However, I just want to show you something quickly here on the 5-minute chart. I place a lot of emphasis on the 5-minute chart and particularly what this moving average 20 does. So you can see here just in the last few hours of the pre-market, so this is the open here, the market was selling off really heavily. Okay, and that moving average 20 line is pointing down quite steeply as well. So for the market to all of a sudden turn around, basically on a dime and head up, I see it as quite unlikely. So even though the buyers around and they could come in at any stage, thought that in the morning it could sell off, which it did right at the beginning. A lot of this is probably news driven. There's a lot of announcements around, maybe not so market driven, but in the end, it did sell quite sleepy. But it was very crazy, erratic, volatile movement. Definitely, not looking to do anything until 10:15 when the market settled down. So once the market did settle down, this is probably the first of the normal power points, and this is quite a significant one. So the market's pulled back. There's a failed power point down here, which it's missed, and it's come up here and faded and pushed through this quite easily. So an indicator that maybe the buyers all of a sudden decided to come in and take over and push the market up, which it did for the short term. Pushed up to this yellow here. Yellow holding for once. We haven't seen a lot of these hold, and then it pulled back here. So we look to have an order. Seb had an order on here at this purple. Good area to take advantage of. These purples, when you're in a daily trend or an uptrend, quite often will hold the market up. In this particular case, he ended up removing the order, which was a good thing because the market came down, pulled back. Also, a lot of other markets were selling really heavily at this stage, so avoided a stop out there. But also the fact it did push down quite easily through that was an indicator that now all of a sudden maybe the sellers were around. Also, the moving average 20 is still pointing down, so definitely want to still look at the sellers here. We came down here. There's actually a 5-minute signal right here to the sell side. Fantastic opportunity. Looking to go low and make lower lows. Great entry. 3-4 points from the power point there, so you want a power fade entry on those 5-minute signals. It's one we definitely look to take advantage of in the trading room. However, it just went without us. We had the order on, and we just didn't get picked up, and one that we missed. So just lately missed a few winners just through the entry, so maybe look at changing something there, which we'll let you know about. So great opportunity, just missed in this particular case. So the market swung back around to this green here. It actually looks like it's pushed through this green here, but if you look closer, because of the wicks and a few things like that, it would have actually been stopped out if you had taken this either way. So a bit of a tough one there. Market's pulled back now. It's pushed up here through a couple of these power points, a couple of power fades in a row working there. But this is through lunch. Also, the moving averages are still down, so there's no. I didn't think that the buyers had a really good chance here of continuing to push up really high. And then we came down to this level here, so we actually had a 5-minute signal come up here. It was technically it was a sell signal, but the moving average by this stage had started to swung around and it was pointing up. So this is one that you do in the opposite direction, you'd fade it, and this was actually a buy. But just because we're unsure of what the buyers or sellers want to do, the entry is right in between power points. So there's another power point down here, a little bit of no man's land, so maybe not the best signal, but in the end it did work. So nice little fade there, work, come up, the green held the market, and then once again it started to push back down. So this basically level here is the last of it's basically the buyer's last support. So the market's pushed down through that, which would indicate that maybe the sellers around. It's come back up to this power point here. So if the buyers did want to come in, as they are on the dailies, this is where it would have had to have pushed up, but the market's held up here and then pushed back down and faded through this particular one here. So definitely indication now sellers are around. Popped up to this particular power point here. So depending on what the other markets and a few areas are doing, this is one that you could maybe look to take advantage of. Looked like it went about 8 ticks or 7 ticks. Then it's popped up again, almost pushed through and the market's held. Then it's sold off really quite heavily here. The sellers are definitely around now. There's a 5-minute signal here. By this stage, I wasn't actually in front of the markets at this stage. I didn't get to see this live. But overall, looking at the signal, noting that the sellers are definitely around. Got a pretty good entry, power fade entry there, and it pushed through and it went through about 9 ticks. this was definitely a 5 minute sell to take advantage of. And the market's popped up here. This is a power point that's always going to hold, as these sellers are very strong at the moment. So this is, even though I didn't see it live once again, but definitely probably one of the power points of the day. And the market's held there really easily and pushed back down again. And you can see there it's sold off quite heavily and pushed through all these power points through to the end of the afternoon. So 5 minute chart, 3 signals for the day. As you can see here at the open, this was I was talking about before, the moving average is heavily on the downside and stayed on the downside for that first half of the morning. It's pulled back and it's come back down and heading towards these lows here. So this is the signal that we look to take advantage of as it goes for lower lows. Just missed it because the market went without us. Then the market's popped back up here. You can see because of this push up here, the moving average is starting to swing around. So by the time this particular sell signal came, you can see the moving average is now swung around, starting to point up. Not pointing up with any conviction, but definitely pointing up. So if you were taking this one, the fade would have to be to go there and you'd be buying. So that particular buy did work there, even though it's probably not the best opportunity. And then once again, this particular one here, great opportunity as well. Didn't see it live, but after looking back at it, it's very evident that the sellers were around. It had broken all the buy support. Markets pulled back. We had a power fade entry on the 5 minute, which is always good. You always need to take them with a good entry in regards to the power points. And it's pushing down and making, because here's the cash market low here, so it's looking to go down and make lower lows, which it did. Pulled down got to about 9 points, pulled back a little bit, and then headed down another 2, 3, 4 points. So a great little opportunity there. So that sell there and that sell there, definitely worth looking at. Alright, that's a wrap up for Tuesday.